how it's like called, like when you have like this, I'm missing a word.
Like a scale, basically.
Yeah, like, and if you like, for example, have like one element that's bigger, right, and then one smaller, it's gonna fall to like one side.
Yeah.
So if you want to like make the composition like more balanced, then you actually need to move this one closer to the center of the composition. So that's one thing that's like here, for example, everything is like on the right side, and especially the heaviest thing, which is like those legs, it's just like taking like this space, and also like almost dividing the whole composition into half, like, which is like not necessarily the bad thing. It's just like if you want to divide like your composition in that way, like so it's something is going to the center, there needs to be like specific reason for that. So for example, like if you want to do something like that, then you kind of use it as like as a frame, and then the main composition might actually happen in this area. I don't know if you understand what I'm talking about, but like for example, like if you can, for example, like if you want to show like some dark corridor, you can do something like this, where this is kind of like negative space, and then like you can put like some character here, and then like this composition, it's gonna be like interesting because you have like your like this is kind of like showing you the like mystery of that like situation, which not maybe not, it's just like an example for like how you could use like the dividing composition into half. Like also, like, I'm obviously like not the master of composition. Like I'm still struggling with a lot of topics. It's like my main thing would be actually like just like character design for games, but like I'm still trying to share what I know regarding like other topics in illustration. So like for example, like with this one also, like you need to also decide how you would want to like approach the overall impression of the whole image, because this one might be like more illustrative, where you can actually on purpose paint everything flat and then stage it as like it would be like background for like theater or something. Or you can try to approach it like more realistically, where you have like more proper light, which actually then make those elements that you show like look like they are like more three-dimensional. And then here right now it's kind of like doesn't work like that. Like here it's like everything is kind of flat, but like I don't know if it's like on purpose you want to approach like achieve that kind of like stylized look, or would you like to have like more interesting light? And
the thing with this one in particular was that I tried to render those people in the foreground a bit more, but the issue I have regularly is that if I go into that phase, I overwork it and it looks very weird. So then I stepped back and I deleted the layers on which I work. So that was another question that I had that I wanted to ask you. Like, how would you take something like this further into making it something more realistic and proper, let's say?
Okay, so like the main thing for me right now is that, okay, I need to decide, because in many cases, like if you want to make something like more realistic, you need to actually take into consideration like light. Like that's like pretty important thing. That's actually gonna determine how realistic something gonna be. Like, and then light, it's gonna like be actually mainly shown as like proper values in the image, which actually, you know, like for example, like you don't need like color for that. So if you are struggling with like you want to achieve like more realistic stuff and then you're struggling with that, I actually it's like, in my opinion, it's easier to like get the proper values in black and white, but then it actually doesn't help you with the colors. But for me, if you want to improve like something, you need to divide stuff to like the simplest thing that you can actually tackle, because then it's easier for you to actually work on it. Like here, what I would actually do with this one, for example, is that like, because on those animals in the background, it looks like the light is actually from the right side. But then on those characters, I don't see it that much. I just see the bounced light that's actually probably from the ground. And then also, like, it looks like it's very sunny day, and the light on the creatures, it's not that like strong, which like it's kind of like doesn't necessarily help with the overall like impression of this thing being realistic. But one thing that like you can do is like I actually use the masks for things very often, because it's kind of easier for to work on the elaborately, because like when you want to just paint things, it's kind of hard to actually get the, like, for me at least, it's not hard to get the proper like edge. And then because like when you have like, for example, shape like this, then you can actually, you know, you use it as like a mask, and then paint the light here, which probably in this particular case should be actually lighter than the background, but I don't want to go like too white. So like sometimes, for example, like, okay, like contrast like is one thing that's like it's good to have, but like you know, if you start with like super light background, then it's kind of hard to show light on characters, for example, that you have like in foreground. So what I would do in this particular case, I would actually go maybe a bit darker first with the background, because you know you can always like make it lighter later.
Yeah.
And then, I will just use this one guy just for the sort of, maybe I will just, okay, I will try something else. Maybe it's gonna work better actually.
Okay.
And I just use the blending options to like, cut out the background.
Okay.
I just did it to be able to actually paint the light on the characters now. Yeah, so like one thing that I would do is like basically adding some rim light on those characters to get this and this thing is actually being stressful for me. Like I just want to do a good job with like painting, and it's I know that I don't have enough time for the whole thing.
But I think I get it. I mean, already if I have done this, it would have worked a bit better with the light from the right.
Yeah, because like also you can add like, if you have like just medium value of the background now, you can actually show that the light is coming from the right side and add some, for example, some bloom effect from the right. Okay, this is obviously like overexposing the characters. And one thing is like you can do is like maybe adding some clouds between the elements that you have here, but like not, because now it's kind of like you have like this atmospheric fog, but it's you could add like just to make like more visual interest. You could add maybe also like one thing that actually I would do, because like right now your ground looks like a flat card, like it's but it's lacking in like any perspective or anything. So like you can just do like a fast